brings you factual, credible, and balanced information from all parts of Liberia and the continent. Join us Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. and start your day with our balanced and sensational morning news. Our news line brings you factual, credible, and balanced information from all parts of Liberia and the continent. Join us Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. and start your day with our balanced and sensational morning news. Our interesting afternoon news comes on at 12 p.m. with updated and fascinating news stories, while the 6 p.m. news rounds up all the happenings of the day to satisfy your curiosity. Join our versatile and credible news team Monday to Friday on Kear Radio 95.9 FM. Today is Friday. Today is Friday, December 13, 2024. This is the 6 p.m. edition of Kia Newsline. I'm Lee Monjue presenting. In the headlines, amidst ongoing political battle to remove embattled Speaker for Kofa, U.S. Embassy urges members of the legislature to respect the rule of law and maintain the peace of the country. President Joseph Boakai opens the 15th Ministerial Conference of the Fisheries Committee with assurance of Liberia's commitment to regional cooperation and sustainable management of marine resources. Also ahead of us, Executive Mansion denies report of President Joseph Boakai demanding embattle House Speaker Folanti Kofa's resignation. Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fofana terms the report as misleading. And away from Liberia, Niger's military government has suspended the BBC for 3 months, accusing it of spreading fake news that could destabilize social peace and demoralize troops fighting jihadis. This was our news bulletin. The voices of the newsmakers. Details of this development are all packaged. But first, Mariama and Jalloh and the news bulletin. Good afternoon. Good evening, Mariama.
Good evening, Lee Monjue, and good evening, Liberia. The United States Embassy to Monrovia has urged the legislature to respect the rule of law amidst ongoing political battle to remove embattled Speaker Funati Kofa. The embassy, in a release on Friday, stressed the need for the political process at the Liberian legislature to be out politically. According to the release, Liberians expect their leaders to uphold democracy and its practice, adding that such includes one that allows for open and transparent political process and peaceful debate. The release also urged both parties, majority and minority, to maintain the peace and display unity. The release at the same time said violence is never the answer to a political dispute, and underscoring the need for both parties to reach an agreement and push the interests of Liberians. President Joseph Boakai officially opened the 15th Ministerial Conference of the Fisheries Committee for the West Central Gulf of Guinea at the EJS Ministerial Complex in Monrovia. The high-profile event brought together ministers, representatives of members of states, development partners, and delegates to address pressing challenges facing the region's fisheries sector. In his keynote address, President Walker emphasized Liberia's commitment to regional cooperation and sustainable management of marine resources. He described the conference as a vital platform to strengthen collective efforts in addressing issues such as illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, climate change, marine pollution, and unsustainable fishing projects. President Walker highlighted Liberia's recent achievement in fisheries governance, including the development of a comprehensive national fisheries policy and enhancement of laws to combat IUU fishing. Mr. Walker lauded the FCWC for its effort to advance regional collaboration, such as the World Bank, European Union, FAO, SIDA, and GCA. He credited their financial and technical support for enhancing regional resilience, marine pollution, and a sustainable fishing practice, stressing that collective efforts and shared expertise are essential. Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fofana has denied report of President Joseph Walker urging embattled Speaker Fanati Kufa to resign as Speaker of the 55th Legislature. Speaking to journalists late Thursday, Kula Fofana termed such rumor as false and misleading, noting that it should not be given credence. According to her, President Bouaka at no time requested embattled Speaker Funati Kofa to resign. She claimed that Chapter 22C of the executive laws clearly gives the President the right to seek advice from the Justice Minister. According to her, based on such laws, Justice Minister Oswa Twe was able to deliver his opinion on the entire process of Capitol Hill. The Minister of Agriculture has commended President Joseph Walker and the United Nations Development Programme for their efforts aimed at reactivating the National Food Assistance Agency. Dr. Alexandra Nutwa, who is also the chairman of the board of directors of the National Food Assistance Agency, expressed hope that the NFAA brings back those old goods when it's used food as a means of encouraging large number of children to go to school. Minister Nitwa made the statement when he commissioned several office materials donated to the National Food Assistance Agency by the United Nations Development Programme in Monrovia on Friday. In remarks, the Director General of the National Food Assistance Agency, Walker Salif, disclosed that his NFAA will ensure that most of food stuff that will be given to the needy will be purchased from Liberian farmers. According to Salif, this is intended to empower farmers and encourage them to produce food and make money available for them to invest more in the soil. The program, which also marked the dedication of NAFA newly acquired building, was graced by representatives from the United Nations Development Program, the Ministry of Agriculture, among many others. 15 minutes are said to be on death row in various prisons and are waiting to be executed whenever the executive order is given to pay for the crimes committed in Liberia. French Ambassador Isabel Lee Gully said Liberia has placed a moratorium on death penalty on the next step in Monrovia on Friday. Ambassador Gully stressed the need for Liberia to join the rest of the world by passing into law banning death penalty in the country. In remarks, the Secretary General of the Civil Society Human Rights Platform of Liberia, Adama Dempster, said Liberia must not be allowed to commit one crime while trying to coup another. According to him, the Civil Society Human Rights Platform is working with the Ministry of Justice and the National Legislature on the possibility of enacting the law beginning capital punishment. The program, which was organized by the Civil Society Human Rights Platform of Liberia with funding from the British Embassy, the French Embassy, and the United Nations High Commission for Human Rights, was graced by the members of diplomatic corps, representatives of civil society organizations, the Ministry of Justice, among many others. A senior citizen from Bokumu District, Bapalo County, has called on the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, Colonel Gregory Comer, to order an investigation into the alleged flogging of the Bapalo County District 2 representative. Renowned Jala Make said it does not argue well for the image of Liberia in the Committee of Nations for lawmaker to be flogged by police officers. Speaking in an interview with journalists in Monrovia shortly after his return from a visit in Bapolu County, Reverend McKay said the people of the district are very unhappy and they hope to retaliate with their votes in the future. Grand Bassa County Senator Bezonga Finley has distanced himself from decision made by the Liberian Senate to recognize the majority bloc as legitimate leadership of the House of Representatives. In a statement made following Senate pro tempore Yombly Kanga Lawrence announcement last Tuesday, Finlay expressed concerns over the Senate's involvement in the crisis. He emphasized that the Senate should have remained neutral in the matter as recognition of one faction has failed to resolve the ongoing impasse at the lower house. He further added that the Senate action contradicts a previous decision made on November 26 when the Senate resolved not to conduct business with either side of the House until the crisis is resolved. The Supreme Court's ruling, which addressed a case filed by the embattled Speaker Funati Kofa against the majority bloc, has led to tension, including physical confrontation among lawmakers and staff. The board tax appeal is expected to embark on its regional workshop across Liberia, making the disclosure at a new conference in Monrovia Friday. The Board of Tax Appeals Deputy for Legal Affairs, Attorney Tonya Gibson, said the launch will take place on Monday in Ganta Nimba County. He added that the workshop will bring together business owners from other counties, Bon, Lofa, Nimba, Maryland, Sano, Grand Coup, and Rivergy, among others. According to him, the workshop is intended to educate business owners about tax appeals and its processes. Attorney Gibson indicated that the launch will create an interactive environment to address frequently asked questions about operations of the Board of Tax Appeal. The news bulletin is now back to you, Lee Monjue, for continuation.
Mariama and Jalloh and the full bulletin of news from the news center. She returns with our foreign development. One of the big stories we are following this evening, President Joseph Waka opens the 15th ministerial conference of the Futures Committee with assurance of Liberia's commitment to regional cooperation and sustainable management of marine resources. With that, we take our first development. Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fofana has denied reports of President Joseph Boakai urging invited House Speaker Fodanti Kofa to resign as Speaker of the 55th Legislature. Speaking to journalists late Thursday, Kula Fofana termed such rumors as false and misleading, noting that it should not be given credence. According to her, President Boakai at no point in time requested embattled Speaker Fodanti Kofa to resign.
But I would say that the social media speculation is not true. President did not tell the speaker, call the speaker to say the speaker resign. He said the president have consulted many persons. And you know, when this entire saga started, and the very English very well, I did inform all of you that the president was consulting his legal team when it came to the submission of the budget and other activities in relation to the national legislature. And that consultation has been really extensive. And at some point in time, you all remember or recall that some Liberians were like, oh, the president not doing nothing. Oh, the legislature in disarray, the lower house, let me say the lower house. The lower house, you know, the speaker can bring to the president, the executive can do this. And then when the president asked his legal team for advice and asked, really, because the executive law, chapter 22, 2C, clearly gives the president authorization to request the justice minister, which is the role of the justice minister, to advise the president on legal activities. During the advice, he went ahead and did that, and then the president on the situation to advise the what the president needs to do because the country needs to move forward. And specifically so the Filipino the president of the Filipino he thought that there was a good thing and then that's how the country has to move on. And to come and say there's a speculation on social media that the president called his speaker to resign. I mean, I wouldn't want to dwell on that, but I can tell you that what has happened over the last few weeks is that the president, the vice president, members of the national legislature, in fact, this has also not just been just from the executive in the lower house, but also the Senate. The Senate has also been very involved because this is about the country.
Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fofana. The Minister of Agriculture has commended President Joseph Boakai and the United Nations Development Programme for their efforts aimed at reactivating the National Food Assistance Agency. Minister Alexander Nutter made the statement when he commissioned several office materials donated to the National Food Assistance Agency by the United Nations Development Programme in Monrovia Friday.
I knew the history of the food assistance program, and I knew it was supposed to be playing a critical role in disaster relief management. Given the fact that that was part of the pillar we were working on, I thought to visit them. And when I visited them and saw where they were, I felt we have forgotten the past that brought us to where we have to be. So I was happy when His Excellency appointed Mr. Wakai, who is a very experienced person, not just in the agricultural sector, but in managing public affairs in this country. I got to know him when I graduated from school. I think it was most of them at the Ministry of Agriculture. And since then, I've got to him to do some of the knows how to move things. So when he was appointed as head of this institution, I knew something was happening him. And that's it. We are here seated at a building that I think 2 years ago, this institution would have owned, not owned, but had access to. So when I walked upstairs and saw his office, I said, wow, this is where I'm not for today. Because the last time I saw the couple once, it broke my heart. Nothing to be done. So we want to thank you, the UNDP, which is one of our partners. The UNDP has been one of those with us in the dark and in the light in our development history. We all know that the UNDP has been supporting us both in developing policies that drive our economy and the country. They've also been supporting us in some intervention areas, even though sometimes we have some differences. But UNDP has played a critical role and will continue to do so. So I want to thank you for the donations you made. And I think on behalf of this institution, I want to assure you as head of the board that whatever donations you make to this institution will be utilized appropriately. We will make sure we do our best to move it to another level where the continual assistance will be appreciated.
Meanwhile, in remarks, the Director General of the National Food Assistance Agency, Waga Salif, disclosed that the National Food Assistance Agency will ensure that most of food stuff that will be given to the needed will be purchased from Liberian farmers. According to Salif, this is intended to empower farmers and encourage them to produce food and make money available for them to invest more in the soil.
What the NFAA has decided to do is to work with the Ministry of Agriculture and farmers when they produce the excess feed after they sold and to the Ministry of Agriculture. NFAA can take that food and distribute it to vulnerable people, as we've been doing. And we've been doing this since we came on board because we know that we need to let people know that we are here and for people to trust us. For the UNDP program to trust us with the amount of equipment they've given us, it just shows that there's greater light at the end of the tunnel. And we have come again. We know that We will have to be begging and we'll have to be pushing things along. But we've come again to appeal to the UNDP and the UN Parliament for capacity building, for other things that will help us to do things that are right and to help our Nigerian population. We are very grateful on this day to be standing here to present to our new chairman a billing and equipment that was donated by the UNDP. A lot of people have not heard much about NFA until President Joseph Numa Parker appointed the two delegates and myself.
National Food Assistance Agency Director General Bwaka Salif Erulesi to Arizona Nuta, Minister of Agriculture. A senior citizen of Bokumu District, Bapuru County, has called on the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, Gregory Coleman, to order an investigation into the alleged flogging of District 2 Representative. Reverend Jada McKay said it does not augur well for the image of Liberia in the Committee of Nations for lawmakers to be flogged by police officers. Speaking in an interview with this station, shortly after his return from a visit in the county, Reverend McKay said the people of the district are unhappy and they hope to retaliate with their vote in the future.
My attention, and I'm making a passionate appeal to the police chief, whom I respect very much because of his citizens' engagement, to make the police service a service to the people of this country, to return the love the citizens had for the police many years back before the war. And I think Colonel Gregory Coleman is on that particular path to restoring respect for the police. So, as a citizen of Monacola Town in Bokomu District, electoral district number 2, from where Representative Luther Collins comes, who enjoyed the overwhelming support through the ballot box of the people of that district, it claims my attention that he will be assaulted. And we have some interest in appealing to the Liberia National Police to launch an investigation so that we can really know what led to the alleged assault on the lawmaker that that district voted for to represent their interests in lawmaking oversight, education, at the House of Representatives. For him now to be hospitalized at the Hope for Women clinic, we think that he is deprived as a consequence of such assault from doing the business that the people of Gumulala, the people of Bukumu, the people of Bele elected him to do. He will have to now stay away from the debates, from the lawmaking responsibilities, from the repealing of laws that may not be relevant anymore to the contemporary challenges we have. And then we think that there's a need to find out what really happened.
A senior citizen of Bokumu District, Bapuru County, Reverend Jada McKay. The Board of Tax Appeals is expected to embark on its regional workshop across Liberia. Making the disclosure at the news conference in Monrovia Friday, the Board of Tax Appeal Deputy for Legal Affairs Anthony Tony Gibson said the launch will take place on Monday in Ganta Nimba County. According to him, the workshop is intended to educate business owners about tax appeal and its processes. Anthony Gibson indicated that the launch will create an interactive environment to address frequently asked questions about operations of the Board of Tax Appeal.
What those things entails in an effort to educate the business owner about Liberia tax appeals processes. The Board of Tax Appeal, BOTA, will launch its regional workshop with a one-day session in Gatsa City, Lima County. BOTA is a quasi-judicial institution established in March 2011 under the Revenue Code Act 2000 and the Public Financial Management Reform Act of 2005. It's committed to tax system reform and enhancing revenue collections. Its mandate includes ensuring taxpayer rights are upheld by providing a swift and cost-effective due process for all Nigerians. The first workshop in Lima County will take place on Monday, December 16, 2014, marking the start of a series of 4 regional workshops across Nigeria. Region 1, business owners from Bonk, Lofa, and Lima counties will convene in Gatsa City, Lima County. In Region 2, business owners from Maryland, Sango, Grand Kuru, and Grand Judah counties will meet in Zwegu, Grand Judah County. Region 3, business owners from Montserrat, Margidi, Riverside, and Grand Judah, Grand Bassa counties will meet in Kansas City, Grand Bassa County. In Region 4, which is the last, business owners from Babu, Grand Cape Mount, and Bowman County will meet in Tahubac, Bowman County. These workshops aim to provide an interactive environment to address frequently asked questions about BOTA operations, which include who can appeal the decision from tax authority to BOTA who? What issues can a taxpayer appeal? What is the process of filing an appeal?
The Board of Tax Appeal Deputy for Legal Affairs Anthony Tunian Gibson. And here we are just tuning your listening to the Friday, December 13, 2024, 6 p.m. edition of Kear Newsline, a 45-minute news production from the News and Current Affairs Department at the Kear Communications Network. Big stories we are following this evening: amidst ongoing political battle to remove embattled Speaker Fonanti Kofa, U.S. Embassy urges members of the legislature to respect the rule of law and maintain the peace of the country. President Joseph Waka opens the 15th Ministerial Conference of the Fisheries Committee with assurance of Liberia's commitment to regional cooperation and sustainable management of marine resources. Executive Mansion denies reports of President Joseph Waka's demanding embattled Speaker Fonanti Kofa's resignation. Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fofana terms the report as misleading. And away from Liberia, the US military government has suspended the BBC for 3 months, accusing it of spreading fake news that would destabilize social peace and demoralize troops fighting jihadis. We take this break to be back with more developments. Many thanks for rejoining us. 15 inmates are said to be on death row in various prisons and are waiting to be executed whenever the executive order is given to pay for the crimes committed in Liberia. French Ambassador Asabeda Lagudi said Liberia has placed moratorium on death penalty, but they can be executed as long as the order is given by the executive. Speaking during the program marking the introduction of the draft abolition bill and debating on the next step in Monrovia Friday, Ambassador Goody stressed the need for Liberia to join the rest of the Civil War by passing into law banning death penalty in the country.
we would like Liberia to be with us in Paris to participate in the debate at the international forum and to have taken significant steps for that. France has welcomed Liberia's ratification in 2005 of the second optional protocol to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, aiming at the abolition of the death penalty and committing to this aim. And France encourages the country to abolish it in domestic law. It is said that about 15 people are currently on death row in Liberia, but Liberia has put in place a moratorium on the actual executions. Liberia voted to adopt the last biennial resolution on the moratorium on the use of the death penalty at the 77th General Assembly of the United Nations. The goal to complete abolition of the death penalty in law for all crimes by the 2026 World Congress is achievable. It is even more desirable as Liberia has engaged a process of transitional justice, which international partners support, but for obvious reasons could not go on supporting that easily if death penalty were still a possible sentence for convicted war criminals.
In remarks to the Secretary General of the Civil Society Human Rights Platform of Liberia, Adam Dempster said, Liberia must not allow to commit one crime while trying to curb another. According to him, the Civil Society Human Rights Platform of Liberia is working with the Ministry of Justice and international legislature on the possibility of enacting the law-banning capital punishment.
And as civil society organization, we equally present a challenge with reviewed. And so that, of course, put us in a position to advocate both at the UN, that is international level, and at the local level as well. So when the recommendations come from the United Nations, civil society is also tasked with the responsibility to put the recommendation power in terms of popularizing the awareness around the recommendation, so that citizens will come in terms of what the recommendation is actually putting forward for the government to act. So Liberia is now obligated to abolish the death penalty. So with the welcoming information and the collaboration with the Ministry of Justice, the Foreign Affairs, Legal Division, and of course the Liberia National Legislature, the team, technical team that we have in Roma for the resubmission of the new abolition bill to the House. That is all part of what the youth project is there to achieve because we do policy engagement with the national stakeholders. We also have had the opportunity to start engaging the public, citizens to have understanding of the death penalty and the extent of the death penalty. To abolish the death penalty, you have to retain or have all the rights to be protected, not by killing people. So you can protect rights, not by taking life. So taking life is not the only means by which you can protect life. So there are other measures in the book that the world is moving towards. We as a country, we also need to move along with the world. So the aspect of corporate punishment is being denounced around the world. The countries are moving towards that. Sierra Leone right next door have taken step. And if Sierra Leone is moving forward right here, we are also need to be moving towards abolishing the death penalty.
Civil Society Human Rights Platform of Liberia Secretary General Adam Dempster earlier listened to French Ambassador Asabida Laguli. This development, the Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services, has marked 2024 as a year of groundbreaking accomplishments, according to its Director General Richie Gafuan. Speaking at the press conference in Monrovia, Gafuan detailed the institution's successes in capacity building, agricultural statistics, inflation monitoring, and Liberia's growing stature on the international stage.
During the course of the year 2024, measures made substantial investments in building the technical capacity of its workforce to meet the growing demands for reliable statistics and geoinformation. Through our capacity building initiatives, 24 staff members were sponsored or sent to pursue master's degree in critical fields such as GIS, economics, statistics, data science, and so forth. During my ascendancy as the Director General for Religions, we completed the National Agricultural Census and we did the data analysis. And there were key results that emanated from the agricultural census that will be very much useful for policymakers, especially those intervening in the agricultural sector. We can simply say that we have the completed data for the agricultural census that has been compiled. The census identified 338,630 agricultural households in Liberia, in the entire country, with the highest concentrations in Nema, which is 21.4%, Bong 16.7%, and Lofa 12.7%. So it means that now Nimba is the leading county in terms of household agricultural production, followed by Bong County, and Lofa is the third. So Nimba now is the breadbasket of our country.
Richard Kafwan is the Director General of the Liberia Statistics and Geoinformation Services at the Junction Region, Mariama Jalloh, with our foreign development.
Niger's military government has suspended the BBC for 3 months, accusing it of spreading fake news that could destabilize social peace and demoralize troops fighting jihadists. Niger's Minister of Communication, Rahilu Sidi Mohammed, announced that the decision would take effective immediately. BBC programs, including in Hausa, the most spoken language in Niger, and French are broadcast in the country through local radio partners, reaching 2.4 million people in the country this year, about 17% of the adult population. Although BBC radio programs have been suspended, the website is not blocked and the radio can still be accessed on shortwave.
For listeners on that foreign note this, I would like to draw down the curtain. So today is Friday, December 13, 2024, 6 p.m. edition of Kear Newsline. This has been the joint effort of the News and Current Affairs Department, yet a Kear Communications Network. Many thanks to all of our reporters, contributors, editors who have been making this edition of the program a success. Many thanks to Maria Manjado who brought for us a full bulletin of national and international news. James Walpole sat as control and handled the technical aspects, and at the same time show our visibility goes beyond the studio. Before we take a leave, a recap of our headlines. Amidst ongoing political battle to remove embattled Speaker Funanti Kofa, U.S. Embassy urges members of the legislature to respect the rule of law and maintain the peace of the country. President Joseph Boakai opens the 15th Ministerial Conference of the Futures Committee with assurance of Liberia's commitment to regional cooperation and sustainable management of marine resources. As you heard in the news, Executive Mansion denies reports of President Joseph Boakai demanding embattled Speaker Funanti Kofa's resignation. Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fufana terms the report as misleading. And away from Liberia, Nigeria's military government has suspended the BBC for 3 months, accusing it of spreading fake news that could destabilize social peace and demoralize troops fighting jihadis. Thanks for listening. I'm Monjue, are packaged and presented. Good night.